as some people said my name, I'm Gabe DiSerrano. I am the team manager for Dynamics and Westside Kids.
Yeah. Nice.
But I was very fortunate to be able to work the event side for this particular day to do a Bite World Championship. A little bit of background on the event. When Matt first came to Westside, we were walking around the building and just chit-chatting, come up with ideas. We stopped by the conference room, which had the executive board at the time meeting, and Matt and I had been talking about like catch and throw and frisbee disc. He never knew what a bite was. We brought this up. He talked about doing like a Bite World Championship or something along those lines. Brought it up to Jeremy Resco. That day they moved the bite in the production schedule from the very bottom to the very top. So if it wasn't for Matt, this idea would have happened. So it's pretty cool.
If you don't like it, you can bite me.
About a year later, to have this nice little event at beautiful Sons Grove, so we're very thankful. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to these fine folk, and we're going to get into this clinic. So feel free and start us off with your name, anything else you want to add, and then we'll start talking to disc golf.
I'm Matthew Orum. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I love coming here to Emporia and being around y'all fine folks. And I'm Westside sponsored, proud, and I can't wait to fight it up with y'all.
And the Bite World Champion runner-up.
Oh, you know,
Tell him, Jesse.
it wouldn't be far off my normal resume, so I believe you.
I'm Raven Klein from Minnesota, DD sponsor. Thank you. And I don't have anything else to add. I like that.
You don't like these fine folks?
Oh no, you're great. You guys are great. Thanks for coming out.
Oh yeah, you guys.
I'm Zach Melton. I'm sponsored by Dynamic Disc. Thank you.
I'm Macie Velediaz. She's
Yay! Yeah, Macie.
sponsored by Dynamic Disc. And yeah, I like you guys as well.
Yeah!
Fantastic. Before we move any further, I also want to highlight another special person. Dr. Christie is right behind you all, right there. He guides all of your bites. So the reason you have all these cool, unique frisbees is because Dr. Christie Disc Guys, she is vending, and we couldn't do this without her, so we're very thankful. Without further ado, we have the Bite World Championship here, which means we're going to be talking about bites, catch disc, and putters specific for this clinic. So we're going to ask a couple questions to them, have them talk about what the catch disc or what they do with their putters and whatnot on a regular basis, what kind of they like out of a putter. And then afterwards, we're going to open up the floor to any questions that you may have, and just feel free and pick out this wealth of knowledge that we have up here in front of you. And then afterwards, we're going to do a brief little players meeting, and then we'll get you out on the course throwing. Sounds good?
Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to start with Macie down there.
Oh, yay.
Because the most recent memory I have of somebody right here acing with the putter on coverage was the Lake Marshall Open champion over there herself.
Is that you?
That was me. I can throw them off the tee. I can't throw them in the fairway.
So Macie, we're going to be talk to me, each of you, about kind of what putters you have in your bag, what shots you use them for, and how frequently you use them.
So I got a Goal Line X Pure. That is the one I aced with. It is the Chris Guitar one, and I use that for just this shot that I just want to go dead straight. Put on a little bit of highs when they have tons of glide. I also throw a Judge. It's a Prime Burst one. Well, those are for my putting, but I do a Fusion Burst Judge for throwing, and I like that just for going straight, a little bit of hyzer, and then I throw a Moonshine Harp for my approach shots. That's what I throw, and I like them because they work well for me.
Okay, so I think when it comes to throwing putters, I believe in trying to keep it simple. And so I basically throw the Judge, and I throw it in baseline plastic, which is beat up, which kind of covers straight shots and also understable. And then I'll bag a Premium, which is going to be a little bit more overstable. And I just try to keep the fewest molds in my bag as possible. And then for forehands, I throw Harps, which, you know, if you've ever tried it, it's a great forehand approach disc. And that pretty much covers all the shots in my bag for putters.
It took me a long time to get used to throwing putters. I wish I'd done a little bit sooner. So I don't throw as many off the tee as some people do, but if I'm within like 140 feet from the basket, I love just like a long kind of annied high step putt with my putters. And so that kind of shot and patent pendings, I always feel comfortable getting out of it. I stick with the judge for everything, whether I'm throwing or putting. And then I do have a harp that I like to use for my backhand approach shots into the green and things like that. But yeah, putters are your friend.
I'm all about the putter. I live off the putter, honestly. It's all got to if you're in the professional division, let's just be honest. But I like my DX judges because I like the DX big bead. Just I like to end up wearing the bead off a little bit over time so it thins out itself and putt with it. And I prefer to be like, I guess when I've been playing so long, there used to be no shiny plastic putters and nobody really threw them on tour until about 6 or 7 years ago, honestly. So throwing the shiny plastics has been an adjustment for me, but I've determined I like the beadless because I can kind of make them dance a little more, and the bead ones are a little bit for more pullovers or trying to throw it flat and make them go left. So I like the beadless just because they're more like frisbee, and throwing a bead it's more like throwing a disc more, say, on the flight. So I love putters, man. I like all kinds. And never stick with a putter because you know when it works, you're never going to change it. Next day it don't work, you want to find a new one. So it's just the way it goes, and it's for everybody. So don't think you're the only one that does that too.
We all do.
We all do. I was thinking about putting with a Pure this weekend.
Yes. So very often you hear a lot of people when it comes to like new players, they try and encourage new players to throw putters. They're like, hey, don't immediately grab 13 speed to 14 speed, stick to putters, get smooth with that, work your way up. Is that a statement that you all align with? What was your first impression when you first came into disc golf? Were you throwing putters? Were you immediately grabbing a 13 and then kind of later down the line fixing it?
I'll start this one. I was not a part of that frame of mind. I thought getting into it, grabbing a faster disc that makes you feel like you're throwing further was great. It's what got me hooked on the game. And then once I understood flight a little bit more, going back to the putter really helped me, because if you're off by a little bit, the putter will tell you. So sometimes your drivers or anything at that fast speed can kind of correct an error that you might have made when you're throwing. But if you're at the point in your game where you're trying to get to these small fixes and really understand what you're doing, maybe not wrong, but something you want to fix, the putter is kind of like a magnifying glass in my eyes, and you'll really know what angle you've released on. So, well, thank you. Anything?
One thing that's always true that I was put on my head when I was a kid was they say, if you can throw a putter, you can throw anything. It was like a little southern phrase. I guess it might be universal, but they always preached it in our head. But I couldn't even get my fingers around the rim. I was like 12 years old, so it wasn't until I was about 15 before I could start throwing the putter. So kids, you don't have to learn to throw the putter soon. Now you can grow into it. I threw classic rocks and little hybrids in between. So, just you really want to train, like you said, magnify your game and see what you're going wrong. Just throwing putters and just seeing it flips over, keep it straighter. That means you're rolling your wrist, and it kind of helps you figure out all your problems. And that's, she said it best. She almost stole all our words. You can't really beat that. So.
Yeah, to build on what she said, I think when you throw a putter bad, it looks really bad. Like you can't shank and flex a putter. Like putters fly straight when you throw them hard. So when you throw them poorly, it shows. So I think that's why a lot of people tend to say try to learn with putters, because if you throw a putter straight, like Matt said, you can throw anything.
And there are different styles in throwing drivers. Like I throw my putter completely different than my driver. My grip's a little different, the style of form. I don't even move my thumb much at all when I throw my putter. There's no really thumb rotation at all. So critiquing your form for a putter and a driver is very smart too. You don't have to throw it the same dang way. We get wild with our drivers. You don't want to get wild with those putters. You want to just keep them simple,
And if you're practicing with putters, you don't have to walk as far when you're doing field work. You only have to go,
I like that one.
100 feet less.
Anything?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say too, but like whatever works for some people might not work for you. So you have to find what works for you. And like for me, I think like I said, I'm not the best at throwing backhand putters up shots. I usually go to my forehand a lot. But what I try to do is just use a lot of my wrist and a lot of spin on putters. But like I said, it's all up to whatever's comfortable for you.
Awesome. The disc that you all have for this event is very much a strange disc. It is designed to be PDGA approved, but it's also designed to be puncture resistant for friendly canines such as the one up front right there. It's really cool that it's a PDGA approved disc because you can use it in competition. And a lot of the times what I see people use the bite for more often than not is warming up or just to play nice casual rounds. For myself, I know the easiest disc that my dad has ever been able to throw, whenever I take him disc golfing, he throws the bite the furthest. Do you all mind speaking to just kind of what playing catch or throwing discs along these lines, warming up, things like that can do for each of you as a player?
Definitely, well, sometimes we don't even get a driving range, or some courses don't even have area you can warm up, so playing catch can be very beneficial for that, just from experience. And I just love playing catch. Catch is just such a fun, it makes me feel like a dog. I am a dog when I'm playing catch, you know, so it's just fun. And I live by the beach too, so I love playing that stuff. That's my passion, is playing beach catch, like for real. So catch is good for the soul. If you love Frisbee, I think it's really good for the soul.
Takes you back to when you started. When we did it for fun and on for a drive.